Welcome everyone to Spoiler Warning, featuring myself, Tom Colohue. Our big news today features a discussion about the upcoming Uncle Howdy representation on WWE programming, who is portraying Uncle Howdy and what the plan is for the character, plus a little bit on the intentions for Uncle Harper as well. We are also going to be discussing the previous visa issues with Tegan Nox in response to a conversation that has happened quite a few times in this here stream, but there is now a report that WWE are interested in bringing her back. We're going to discuss Bo Dallas. We're going to discuss concerns as regards Karrion Kross, and a little bit on both Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre's plans for WrestleMania. So please do make sure to be fully strapped in as we launch this show. This is, of course, an Ask Me Anything stream. So if you do have any questions, just jump in and ask away. We are currently only 4 subscribers away from 1,770. So if you're able to, please be one of those 4 subscribers. Hit like if you can't be those subscribers, because after all, that really boosts the channel, doesn't it? First up, Eric Douglas says, Tom, how are you, buddy? I'm very good, thank you. Do you think the Ox will introduce Bianca as a female? Also, do you think Liv joins Bray's group? No, I don't think Liv joins Bray's group, and I don't know what you mean by the Ox, to be clear on that one. Leisha Miller says, hey Tom, hello everyone. Glad you were going to explain Bray Wyatt. For someone who doesn't know a lot about him, I'm just a bit confused with him and the 6. There is a lot to be confused by, let's be fair. Brad Becker says, I think England fell back this weekend. Hello Tom. And hello everyone, don't forget to hit that like button. And by England, I mean the UK. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate that. Welcome to the show. El Rodriguez, you may have deleted your message, but I still saw it. I did indeed still see it. Either live or die by your words. But if you delete them, be aware that I can still see them. Stuart Ridley says, it did. We went back onto GMT. We did indeed. Raymond, welcome, says, hello, Tom. Had to watch the last few shows on replay. Nice to be back live. How are you doing? I have a star next to my name. What does that mean? I hope it's a good thing. It means you are a channel member, sir. You received a gifted channel membership. I believe it was Friday you received that one. That's why you have the star, and that's why your name is now green, because that is the colour of my channel members. Marcel says, hello, how are you doing? Doing very well, thank you. And Traffic says, good afternoon, Tom, and happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome, Venom, as well. Spiderboss says, WrestleVotes reports Triple H has put plans for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming back up on hold due to the popularity of Sami Zayn in the Bloodline. Hello, Tom. Hello, Spiderboss. That is indeed what has happened. I did report a couple of months ago now that the plan was for this year's WrestleMania to feature, pardon me, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, both as faces against the Usos, challenging for the tag team championships. It was nice to see someone else confirm my report. WrestleVotes has been confirming a lot of my reports recently, and they've been reported as if they were the first ones to actually report it. In fact, no, Give Me Sports' Louis Dangor is the one actually getting the credit for the reports, which firstly came from WrestleVotes, and secondly was several weeks after I reported it. So we are where we are. Hello, Sean. Spiderboss says, do you see Bayley winning at Crown Jewel? Yes, I do. Venom says, is Tegan coming back? Great question. So far, the only report is that there is interest in Tegan Nox. However, there are still some issues to deal with. The issues with Tegan Nox were not necessarily injury related, though there is a slight concern over her ability to wrestle for long periods without picking up at least some sort of injury. So there is that concern, but it's not a concern that Triple H really puts too much credit onto. The big issue when it came to Tegan Nox, and I've had this confirmed by a lot of different sources, is simply that there are visa issues preventing her from settling full-time with America, the WWE, and the like. That made it very difficult to guarantee her work status in the US after some initial problems getting that clearance from Wales, where of course she is from. As regards the possibility of Tegan coming back, if the WWE go hell for leather on this and give her the sponsorship required, she will be able to fix the visa issues. Essentially, it's a bit of an issue right now that the WWE won't support her fully, because if they did, she would then have no visa issues. But if she didn't have any visa issues, the WWE would then support her fully. Very awkward, very ridiculous, and ultimately if WWE want her, they will get her and they will get the visa issues sorted. If anyone else wants her, that's a question. Happy Halloween yourself, worst channel. I've been handing out a lot of sweets earlier on, a lot of chocolates it started out and actually finished out with the stepkids, so. And a lot of kids who live on their street who recognise me now coming out to my house. Spider-Boss said it surprised me that Sasha Banks' fans believe more in Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer when it comes to Sasha and Naomi news, when we all know spoiler warning has the most accurate news about Sasha and Naomi. Yep, well, if you pick someone and refuse to believe anyone else, as certain people do encourage you to do, you will never actually know the full story. It's important to listen to a lot of different sources, a lot of different proven sources, and work things out from there, because not every source will be, no source will be accurate 100% of the time. It is important to consider that every single source has been wrong at some point in time. Hello, Simon. And hello, much pumpkins to you too. Shadowron says hello, Tom. Hello, Shadowron. And Michael says hi, Tom. Hello, Michael. Pierre says hi, Tom. How are you doing today? Doing very well, thank you, Pierre. Welcome to the show. Jaden says hey, Tom. Welcome, Jaden. Simon says, any new Sasha news? Nope. Razar says, what are your thoughts on Karrion Kross? I feel like he isn't connecting with the audience. I don't know. I do have something on Karrion Kross, actually. There is now a concern backstage about the level of crowd support he has not managed to achieve since returning to the WWE. Crowd support seems to be falling off. Now, personally, I believe that may have something to do with the fact that he's been booked to be absolutely... What's the opposite of unstoppable? I don't just want to say stoppable. Awful. To not be able to win a possible match. And this is booking. This is very much booked so weak that he literally can't win a single match, and now there are concerns about his future in the WWE because he's not getting very strong reactions. Feels like Vince booking, but we are where we are on that one. Go says, hey Tom and chat, hope everyone's doing well. Sending well wishes to Carmella and Corey Graves. Indeed, we all send well wishes to Carmella and Corey Graves in this time. Thomas says, hi Tom, who do you see being involved in the War Games matches? On one side, I see the Bloodline. This is the men's side. And there is still a possibility that it will be Fight Night and two others. Drew McIntyre likely to be one of them. But there is also a possibility of it being Bray Wyatt. It doesn't seem likely at this point in time that Bray Wyatt will be stepping into War Games because the Wyatt Six are taking a lot longer to actually establish. More on that shortly. As regards the female War Games, it will be Damage Control on one side and Bianca Belair and her backup on the other. Spider-Boss says, do you think that Bianca's strong booking can make fans turn on her? No, I think fans turning on her will make fans turn on her. Ultimately, strong booking doesn't make fans turn. It's just that fans decide that strong booking is a problem. Happy Halloween to yourself, noob. Welcome, sir. Eddie says, who will be the woman OC will choose against Rhea? I've been asked this a lot. I've not been able to answer. I don't know. Also, who says they're going to choose? Daz, welcome. Says, Tom, any news what the card will be tonight? The card has been out there pretty publicly for a while now, as I recall. I don't exactly think they've been hiding it. Let's have a read then, shall we? I'm just booting up the Raw page on WWE.com. Clicking the preview button. Well, Roman Reigns will be there. That's telling. So Roman Reigns will be in attendance. Brock Lesnar will be in attendance. Nikki Cross will take on Bianca Belair. Otis and Matt Riddle will face off in a trick or street fight. So there's your card. Joey says, hey Tom, do you know who the identity of Uncle Howdy is? Yes, more on that shortly. Tom says, big love to you. Appreciate your kind words on my thumbnails. Not a worry, Tom. It was a great looking thumbnail. Sean says, apparently SmackDown didn't do well on FS1 this week. They did not reach the million that they were looking for. This is a crying shame when you consider how much they threw at this. Bray Wyatt main eventing. Roman Reigns heavily involved. Ronda Rousey in the draw segment. The return of Emma, which is being considered a little bit of a disappointment. The lack of crowd reaction. The lack of any boost in the ratings. It was a shame. Venom says, how do they separate the tag belts? By choosing to. The draft is when I expect the championships to be separated again. No Jaden, no Sasha news today. Noob says, I heard that Asuka is dealing with a legit injury. So that's over 9 months of her being out of action. Is she? Who did you hear that from, Noob? Marcel says, if you could choose, who would you have beat Roman? Sammy right now. Hey, Sean, how you doing, mate? A trick or treat match with Riddle? Really? How are you, Tom? I'm very well, thank you. They always do trick-or-treat matches. They always do the food fight at Thanksgiving. It's just something they do. It's not necessarily for our age group. It's more for the kids. And you know what? That's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. Tom says, Lewis, okay, did an interview with him and he sounded and looked like would rather be anywhere else. That's a shame, mate. That's a shame. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. It's not that surprising for me to hear. Let's just say that. Hector said this was one source of yours I'm jealous of. It's a Bray source. He's very hard to read because of the complexity of his character. You have to have a number of different sources to try and actually lay out any of the Bray stuff. Simon is recommending a video on Sasha. Does my work feature in that video, Simon? Just to ask. Not going to be annoyed if it doesn't, but just going to ask. Noob says, don't know. I just heard that's the reason. If you don't know, then it's definitely not legit. Because if it was a trustworthy source, you'd remember who they were. Spider-Boss says, is it me or is carrying Cross can't connect with the fans? Scarlett makes Cross look great. Scarlett, I don't feel makes Cross look great. I think what Scarlett does is make everyone else look elsewhere. The comparison that Nick Barbati gave me was that Scarlett and Karrion Kross are in danger of becoming Sable and Mark Merrow, and we're already pretty much there. Traffic says, let's call it like it is with Kross. He's been a flop, maybe. It's not his fault or whatever, but we are where we are, and he's been a flop. He has been a flop. I think you're absolutely right to say so. Please remember to hit like on the video. We have 63 viewers and 23 likes. Every thumbs up makes a massive difference and can really help the channel grow. So I'd very much appreciate it. And don't forget, we are currently looking for just 4 subscribers. Just 4 subscribers to reach the point where we have 1,770. Just 4 subscribers to get there. We continue to grow at a tremendous rate. Another 100 plus already this month. Venom says it's ridiculous how he needs Scarlett to win every damn time. It's making him look weak. He was booked mega strong in NXT, never needed any help. Yep, and even under Vince McMahon, even under Triple H, those days are gone. Joey says, I think the problem with Karrion Kross is having Scarlett interfere in every match. We haven't seen much offense from Kross. It is very much the booking, very much indeed. Welcome, Joey. Simon says Scarlett is Sable, the star out of the duo. Kross is Mark Merrow, the jobber of the duo. Needs help to beat a mid-carder in Madcap Moss. Not good if you're feuding with Top Guy and Drew. I do agree there. Hector says Karrion's situation would be like if your work gave you an unachievable amount of work and fired you because of it. I'd boo someone too if they were originally viewed as a badass, now they're presented as someone who can't win without his lady. I absolutely agree with you, Hector. I do feel the booking is the main issue here. Hopefully, he's able to get past it because I do feel it's going to be a challenge for him. Sean says, what do we all think the secret is that will get revealed by The Miz tonight? Now, just to let you guys in, I'll let you decide in the chat, what do you think the secret is that's going to be revealed tonight? Spider-Boss says, Sami Zayn with the Bloodline has been great. The Usi line from Sami was fun. It really was. We had the most views of any watch party I've ever had, and that includes premium live event watch parties, on this Friday's SmackDown. We reached more than 3,600 views. And we all lost it the moment Sami Zayn mentioned the word Usi. Thomas Phipps says, thoughts on the Nakamura news? It is great news. I'm hyped to see that match. Welcome, Thomas. Venom says, I hope Tegan comes back, Tom. How likely is it she returns? I have no source on that information. I don't know. Sai says, hi, Tom and all. Hi, Sai. How you doing? Hope you're all good. Just caught SmackDown. Perfect. Sami's line seemed unscripted. Roman gently steering Jay from Sami and subtly telling him to stop looking at him. Great entertainment. Roman embraced what he should have embraced and just did everything he could to help Sami Zayn get over. You've got to love that. Simon says there's a SmackDown European/UK tour going on from Sunday in Glasgow, Scotland to Wednesday in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. So Wednesdays are in 3 countries. Wow, busy. Daz says, Tom, who do you think will dethrone Seth? Cody, kind of? But I also think it's possible Bobby Lashley just gets it right back. Noob says, from what I heard, it's from the Wrestling Observer, but I want to hear from Asuka herself until I get confirmation. That's fair. You're entitled to that opinion. Razar says, I don't think they should separate the tag titles in my opinion. They should just let the champs travel the brands like the women's tag titles. Personally, I disagree. There are more than enough tag teams and more than enough people on both Raw and SmackDown to justify 2 separate tag team championships. I would like to see, for example, the Viking Raiders finally getting the big one, because I feel they kind of need it, because they've had a lot of bumpy roads. Though I do feel it would be very beneficial if we had, for example, the Revival come back into WWE, or Authors of Pain come back into WWE. And then on one side, you have the Revival as champions, and one side you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as champions. Imagine how hype you are for Survivor Series if it's champion versus champion then. Will says, it's funny how people got mad at you about your Sasha Banks update, but no less than 2 weeks Sasha started posting herself training in the ring again. It must be fun to be right. It is and it isn't, Will. Like, it's reassuring, but the amount of abuse I get, there are times when I've literally had death threats to my personal telephone number. Death threats. Because someone out there has told people that I'm wrong all the time. Of course, you guys are here regularly, you know that's not the case. But someone said it, and now I get death threats. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Simon says, I only think the women returns that get a legit big pop will be the big three: Sasha, Naomi, and Charlotte. You've completely forgotten Becky. She'll get a big pop too. Tom says, you were a great interview. Big love. Part 2 in 2022. If, literally meaning this year or indeed next year, 2022 or 2023, I'd happily do a part 2, sir. If you have questions, I'll happily jump in. Spider-Boss says, when we could see Scarlett wrestle on SmackDown, unlikely to happen at this moment. Unlikely to happen at this moment. Ghost says, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Asuka may be dealing with a legitimate injury, but I don't think anything's been confirmed there. Thank you very much for bringing the details in there, Ghost. I very much appreciate it. I know I was putting you over a little bit on Friday, but I'm putting you over again here. I appreciate people coming in here and making sure that we get the right information. Raymond has said, Cross has been booked to be vulnerable. Vulnerable's a word, thank you. Not good for someone who's supposed to be unbeatable. Sean says, your thoughts on AEW wrestlers roasting JD from NY on Twitter? Thoroughly deserved? Funnily enough, JD from NY has sent more traffic to these channels, than anyone else, because apparently we do similar titles. I'm still not going to sit here and kiss any arse or blow any smoke. I don't like the guy. Simon says, Tom is always right when it comes to Sasha news. Yes, somewhat, Tom. Hi, Vegeta, how you doing? Razar says, I honestly think it's one of those times where Vince was right, Cross just doesn't have it, and it's been obvious even more the second go around. I stand by the fact that I believe it's been the booking. We'll see how it plays out. Joey, yes, there will be news on Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt 6. It is our top story today. There are three more pieces to cover. Something on Bo Dallas, something on Sami Zayn, and something on Drew McIntyre. Michael also didn't see the appeal in carrying Cross. Kevin says, I wish every return gets a video package to say coming soon. They like the surprise, really. Vegeta disagrees, says Cross has it. Let's see how it goes. Venom says, I get there couldn't be a clean finish in the match with Drew because Drew needed to be protected, but to constantly do it is just making him look weak. Did Drew need to be protected? Did he? Did he? Did he? Simon says, Cross was not great in Impact or NXT. He just does not have it, whereas Scarlett is a legit star. Venom says, do you think it has anything to do with Indy? Also, I thought Johnny was revealing it. Indy would make a lot of sense. A lot of sense at this point. Also, the Rhea Ripley cosplay was fantastic. Patrick says, the way will be shown. The way indeed, sir. Thomas says, do you think we can see more collaboration between WWE and Noah? Yes, but I don't think they're going to ask for many more. Matthew Johnson, welcome, says, Sammy and the Bloodline are doing the best work now in WWE. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Spider-Boss says, I always pay more attention to Scarlett. I don't see anything special in Cross. Hector says, I remember all those reports many years ago about Nakamura not being happy in WWE. Now look at what's happening now. They give him freedom and are letting him do things that truly make him happy. I remember those reports. I remember the reports about Io Shirai going back to Japan. Do you remember those? Do you remember who they came from? Welcome, Mark. How you doing, mate? I appreciate the TikTok. Alyssa says, what? Gotcha. Okay, moving on from that because I struggle to totally understand your meaning. Vegeta says AOP would be smart to come back. Spider-Boss agrees, said AOP would be a good addition for WWE Tag Team Division. Tom says, how do people get your personal number? So there are two wrestling journalists that I've done work with in the past who have, by extension of doing so, my personal phone number. One of them, 100%, either was responsible for death threats or responsible for leaking my number to people who followed up to death threats. We may have mentioned one of those potential two people a little earlier. Raymond says, wouldn't it be funny if Miz admits him and Dexter are half-brothers? I mean, no, but no, I'm not sure how that would play out. It would be a bit Kurt Angle's estranged son. Eric Douglas says, do you believe in Bo Dallas? Here's a piece of news we can jump into right now. Yes, I believe in Bo Dallas, and here I am saying it confidently and loudly. I believe in Bo Dallas. I believe. Bo Dallas has been backstage at a WWE SmackDown recently. I've not been told which one, but he has been backstage at a WWE SmackDown recently. So he has been in attendance at the WWE in the last 3 weeks. There is absolute confidence from a number of different sources that he will be involved in the Wyatt Six. He will be signing a new deal with the WWE. He will be returning shortly. Gotcha, Tom. Let's talk about that closer to the time. Simon says, I'm torn between who I want to win between Bianca and Bayley. Love both. So really, you can't lose. Venom says, people are just jealous and pathetic. Ignore them, Tom, and keep doing the amazing work you're doing. Thank you, Venom. I appreciate it. Sean, welcome, says, I see Sean Ross Sapp said that FTR's contract of AEW are up in the beginning year of 2023. Will WWE be interested? Oh, hell yeah. Triple H is already interested. Triple H has already been in direct contact with the Revival. The Revival have been raising aggravations. I was in attendance at Royal Quest 2, which is a New Japan show, which was main evented, night 1, by the Revival against Aussie Open, a 5-star match from Dave Meltzer, having watched it on delay, essentially, and watched it back later on. FTR were talking about Tony Khan. FTR were not just talking about Tony Khan on camera, and people that I spoke to there had absolute confidence that the Revival will be revived. That's some news for you. Alyssa says, Bray Wyatt makes no sense to dethrone Roman Reigns. Cody does okay. As I say, Roman Reigns has 2 belts, and I think they will both be on the line. Noob says, JD from NY is still to this day the biggest headache in the IWC. Well, Brad Shepard's gone, so somebody has to be. Vegeta says, I never thought Cross would be booked like Undertaker in 93. Bad times. Bad times. Barry says Cross was boring and often got poor crowd reactions and Impact as well. Sean says Bianca beats Nikki. I don't believe it goes to a clean finish. I believe that essentially Bianca wins by DQ when Damage Control get involved. Yes, Sean, I did see the pictures of Sheamus' wedding. Everyone looked fantastic. I love a guy in a suit. Pardon me. We currently have 83 viewers and 30 likes. If you're able to, please do hit that thumbs up. It makes a massive difference and really helps the growth of the channel. We are currently looking for just four subscribers to get us to the level of 1,770. That would mean that we only have 230 subscribers left to get before the end of the year, an average of 115 per month. That is certainly achievable numbers if you ask me to get to the 2,000. Please remember to hit like. Callie says, evening Tom, late joining tonight. Welcome Callie, great to see you. Michael says, I felt bad for Emma, but it's been 5 years. She's not on the level of the 4 horsewomen. The silence didn't surprise me too much, but I do wish she had more of a reaction. Certainly she didn't get a reaction that the WWE were hoping for, and that's very telling about where they're heading with her. Sorry, one sec. It's raining quite heavily outside and I think I have a small leak in my ceiling. I think that's a very fair comment, Michael, very fair comment. It has been a long time for Emma, and honestly, she hasn't been as missed as a number of other people. Yes, Spider-Boss, I believe, a DQ ending. Ghost says, is WWE still looking to have 5v5 War Games matches this year? And if Asuka is truly injured, how much do you think it would affect the booking of the Women's War Games match? It would likely affect the booking, especially with Becky Lynch not being available at this point either. They would have to find other people, but this may be why Nikki Cross is involved instead of Candice LeRae potentially turning heel. Joey says, I saw a report from Ringside News, Brad Starr, that CM Punk plans on suing Tony Khan. Do you have any news on this? There is an ongoing legal issue that I cannot speak about. 1, because I don't have all of the knowledge of it, but 2, I am not planning to do anything that could potentially prejudice the case. Okay? I'm not planning to do anything that could potentially prejudice the case. There is an ongoing legal matter in AEW at this point in time. I expect CM Punk will be out the door very shortly once the negotiation of his 7-figure payout has been completed. Will says, you also reported Triple H was planning to bring back more women outside of Sasha and Naomi, and then Fightful reported it a month later. Yeah, that happens. Very much happens. Noob says, I'm happy that Nakamura is wrestling against the great Muta at the start of 2023. Me too. Callie says, Callie speaking of Venom. Simon says, for any big Scarlet fans out there, she's got a band with Shotzi released a Halloween song. I don't believe that's necessarily a band. I don't think that's necessarily a band. I think that was a one-time act. Or am I wrong? Spiderboss says, Emma got almost no reaction from fans on SmackDown this past Friday. She isn't on the 4 Horsewomen level, but the poor reaction from fans didn't help. To be fair, we can't expect everyone to be on 4 Horsewomen level. That's a very, very high bar, and I don't think people are recognising that. Peter, welcome, says I was going to ask about Bo Dallas. Spooky. Ooh. Steve says, welcome on delay, Mr. Colohue. Oh, watching on delay. Hope you're doing well, sir. Doing very well, Steve. I hope you're enjoying the delay watch so far. Peter says, best channel on YouTube. Everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. I'm realising a lot of what I say has a physical component. For example, the way. And if I tell you everything is on the table, you all know what I mean is everything is on the table. We need like some sort of insignia for spoiler warning, but that's a nerdy thing I'm not quite prepared for. Eric says, do you think they'll bring in B-Fab to wrestle during the Hit Row Legado feud? Yes, that is very much the plan. The earring, to be clear, the earring for Uncle Howdy was a bit of a red herring. However, give it time. I'll tell you exactly who's behind the mask very shortly. Kelly says, wasn't Bo the new character on SmackDown? He was not behind the mask on SmackDown. John says, Candice and is kayfabe injured? Yes. Spiderboss says, Cody Rhodes recently revealed he left AEW because he wants the big one. He does. He, in fact, didn't recently reveal that. He revealed that the night after he returned. Will says, do you know if Liv Morgan might be with whatever they're doing since... Okay, the fact that she is dating Bo potentially, that has not been confirmed, will have no bearing at all on WWE storylines. Simon says, will Maxine Dupree actually wrestle? Not to my knowledge, not at this point in time. She is still in training, so it's possible. Hector says, imagine if the Revival make a Hardy Boys-like return at Mania in an open challenge match with the Usos. Seems like they enjoy Mania surprise returns here in the last couple of years. They do, and I do think that would be a perfect way to do it. Simon says, will RK Bro reunite as a Raw tag team when Randy RKO returns? Yes. Venom says, any update on Sasha? No. Joey says, is the plan for Bray to feud with these characters that are a part of the Wyatt Six? No. Vegeta says, Bo Dallas calling Bray a liar works. Bo Dallas has not called Bray a liar to my knowledge. Uncle Howdy has. That is not Bo Dallas at this point in time. Adam says, how's your day going? Going very well, thank you. I've been handing out the candy, as is my role here as stepdad, and it's been great fun. Thomas says, hi Tom, is there any rumours on possible debuts or returns tonight? There are always rumours on possible debuts and returns every night. Simon says, love the Halloween theme with Bray as a title video, very appropriate with a Fiend character. Steve says, my first question today asks if we can expect any horror-themed cameos this evening on Raw, such as the Boogeyman. This isn't something I necessarily want, by the way. We can expect a couple of things like that. They are not planning just a trick or street fight. The Boogeyman is an obvious, easy choice. I suspect we may see someone like Kane briefly. Stuart says, when Emma's return was essentially leaked, it's not a surprise the reaction in the arena was tepid at best. It would not have been difficult to just not mention her by name. Wouldn't have been difficult. KJ, welcome, sir. How you doing? Raymond says, I don't think Emma's return was very strong. I didn't think Ronda was the best opponent for her in her return match. Very true. You have to actually spend some time training with Ronda Rousey in order to fit a Ronda Rousey match. Plenty more information about that is in the watch party. Callie says, Emma wasn't a very exciting comeback. Simon says, Natty and Tennille Dashwood tag team. Spiderboss says, with Bianca not having any tag team partners available, who do you see coming to the aid of Bianca? No one. I see her standing alone. Vegeta says, I'm happy she's back, but she needs to be built. Very true. Losing in her first match certainly wouldn't have helped, but that, of course, gives her the opportunity to start building from a bit lower down. KJ says someone just mentioned how RSN, Ringside News, reported that Punk was going to sue AEW and Khan. I'm not defending RSN, but all they did was quote Dutch Mantel, who said he thinks Punk will sue. Thank you for the clarification, KJ. That's not defending Ringside News. That's defending the actual facts, which is always welcome here, and you know that. B-School Nick says, alright, go on with the brain news already, Tom. It's coming soon, don't worry. I need to catch up a little bit before I can do so. Spider-Boss says, I still remember that Candice LeRae got a good pop from fans in Canada. She did indeed. Marcel says, when do you think Bray's first match is? Rumble or Mania? Mania. El Rodriguez, here we go again. Deleted the comment earlier and now is back to say, I knew from the start WWE's returning Tegan Nox. You didn't believe me. That's correct. I didn't believe you. I don't know what you expect from me, but if I believed everyone who came in here and told me this is going to happen, what I'd do is believe a whole lot of stuff that is utter garbage. A lot of trolls jump in here. A lot of people jump here and say, this is going to happen, because they're just confident of it. You need to realise where you are. And you also need to realise there is a reason I didn't believe it, because I've been told by several people that it's visa issues. I explained this earlier in quite a bit of detail. Okay? Geordie560. Shh. Calm down. It's okay. What's wrong? What's wrong? You seem trollish. Spider-Ball says maybe Jordan Gargano wants to show Dexter Lumis the way. Maybe he does. I mean, the way is all. The way is all. Steve says, completely agree on carrying cross booking, by the way. I would add that he has suffered being on the one of the first big returns. Many more have come back since making cross seem less important. Vegeta says, everything is on Logan Paul. Simon says, when is Alexa coming back to WWE TV? When there is a storyline ready for her. Joey says, where is Bobby Roode been? Is he injured or working in a backstage role? Bit of both. There is a slow transition happening with a number of people. Bobby Roode was originally brought to the WWE to act as a backstage coach for NXT, and they decided to use him a lot more going forwards because they decided he could keep going. So that's what happened. At this point, they don't feel that he's needed in the same way, so he can return to some coaching. Vegeta clarifies that there is an injury, but as I said, that he will be working with coaching more often. Simon says, when is Charlotte coming back to WWE TV? Soon. Thomas Phipps says, who do you think will be joining the OC to fight against Rhea? No idea. Sai says, I think Miz's terrible secret is that he booked his own feud with Bray Wyatt back in 2019. He did not, and he was not happy with how it went. Steve says, would you like to see tournaments return to the network / Peacock like the Mae Young Classic and Cruiserweight Classic? I would like to see them become yearly events that don't have much in the way of advertising on the main shows. I just think that would be a lot of fun. Simon says, Mike Tyson is returning to AEW on Wednesday. What's his involvement? Is it with Jericho again, Tom? I have no idea. I don't know the booking for a show on Wednesday. Austin says, do you think Bayley wins Saturday? Yes, I do. Ghost says, comparing every woman that comes back to the Four Horsewomen is a bit unfair. Booking-wise, there haven't been many women that are considered to be on the same level as them outside of Bianca for a long time. If you consider the Four Horsewomen returning to be the bar, each return is always going to underperform in comparison to that, which is very fair and a very good comment by Ghost. Eric says, do you think Elias joins Riddle temporarily until Randy returns? Well, I think Elias does need someone to have his back, and why not? Riddle's right there. Hector says, Tom, would you ever do a financial analysis of your friend? Gleb. Like you did with AEW for WWE, I'm oddly curious on the WWE contracts, to be honest. There is a lot more information out there at the moment about WWE. We can do a financial analysis. However, the WWE's financial information is a lot more openly available. So, they're doing good, is basically the list there. Will says, when you say everything is on the table, does that mean Roman Reigns' table too? No, Roman Reigns is not on the table. He is the head of the table. Barry says, I'm thinking of setting up a channel with wrestling news, revelations and leaks, mostly dependent on Suella Braverman getting a job with WWE and accidentally start emailing me. So likely then. Spider-Boss says Bayley will need half of the women's division to defeat Bianca in Crown Jewel. I disagree with that. Sean says Rick Boogs keeps posting videos of him working out. This means he's close to returning. Moderately close. I can't sit here and say he's going to return anytime soon. I don't think we're likely to see him this year at least. No, absolutely, KJ, you do right. Kelly says, when do you think Bray will actually have a wrestling match? WrestleMania. Simon says, do you think maybe The Fiend, Bray's cult leader of the Wyatt family character, appears on Raw tonight, if it being Halloween? No, there was never a cult leader character for Bray Wyatt. He was always a follower. He was a follower of Sister Abigail, and that character is long gone. Ty's Mustang says, hello, Tom. Hope you're having a great day. I am indeed, mate. Thank you. Michael says, Tegan on her Twitch stream has mentioned visa issues. Thank you for the clarification there, Michael. Pierre says, is there a chance Sasha and Naomi can be there for War Games? There is always a chance. Everything is on the table. Joey says, how long do you expect this legal battle with Tony Khan and CM Punk will go on for? Absolutely no comment. Spider-Boss says, does Wade Barrett stay on SmackDown when Pat McAfee returns? That is a plan at this point in time, yes. It would mean Pat McAfee acting more as a wrestler than a commentator. I don't think anyone here is going to be offended by that. Megan says next year's Royal Rumble could potentially be very interesting with the number of people who might be coming back around that time. Also, hello, happy Halloween and a blessed Samayan. Is it Samayan? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Megan, please let me know if I get it wrong. Welcome to the show. Geordie, you need to either calm down or go bye-bye. In fact, I think you may have already gone bye-bye. I think you've already gone bye-bye. A lot of swearing, a lot of anger, just doesn't seem to be happy. We talk about whoever we want to talk about here. You know? People chatting along and chatting away to themselves about people. That helps my numbers. That helps this channel grow. If you're trying to stop that, then I'm going to try to stop you. Callie says, I love the way they are building Johnny Gargano up. Peter says, hey Tom, it's raining cats and dogs here. How do I know? Well, I just stepped in a poodle. God damn it, Peter. Joey says, do you think Deonna Purrazzo will jump ship to WWE when her contract is up? Since her tag partner is rumoured to be joining WWE, there is interest from Triple H. He's waiting for the contract to expire to make a formal approach. No, Sean, there is definitely no chance of anything like that involving Indy Hartwell. Simon says, is Bobby Fish coming back to be a coach in NXT? There is a discussion ongoing about that, yes. KJ says, to be fair, Emma got a slight pop once her name popped up on the screen, but didn't pick up when she came out as he thought it would. But she was never big time in WWE and then she left to Impact. Jonathan Rodriguez says, Johnny Gargano has been fantastic the last couple of weeks. Love the Ciampa shout out last week on Raw. Simon says, Naomi has become an even much bigger star in her time away upon her imminent return. Tom, do you agree? Much? No. Bigger? Pardon me? Yes. Raymond says, any updates on Adam Cole's condition? Not at this point in time. No. Sean says, make you a shirt that says everything is on the table. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Maybe that's the logical next step to just go all the way. Eric says, do you think Uncle Howdy is Grayson Waller? Nope. So, okay. Thank you, Megan. Spiderboss says, Sasha. You hear that, Jodie? Sasha. During the weekend tweeted she would love to know more about the rumours. I love when Sasha trolls everyone. May or may not be a reference to any rumours that I may have spoken about in some factual news videos. Will says, have you heard of any other WWE wrestlers have asked can they do some matches in Japan if the Great Muta match does good? Nope, heard of no one who's done that. Ty says, any idea on when they will take the Money in the Bank case off Theory? Well, it depends very much on whether or not they take it off him or whether he cashes in. Hector says, it finally clicked when you said earring on Uncle Howdy. I love that people think that person is actually a part of the Wyatt Six. Spiderboss says, could we see soon the end of Mandy's title reign? Everything is on the table. You will one day see an end to the reign. Yes, Jaden, I do have some news. Don't worry, we're almost there. Simon says, Thunder Rosa says she'll be back in early January from a back injury on Busted Open Radio last week. Mark Justice says, hey Tom, nice to see you, bro. Welcome, Mark. How you doing? And Richard Smith says, hello, Tom and all. So, the big news is as regards Bray Wyatt. Please remember to hit like on the video. We have 104 viewers and only 37 likes. So if you're able to, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, because we only need 4 subscribers to reach 1,770. So, Bray Wyatt. Uncle Howdy and Uncle Harper both play a major role in the upcoming direction with Bray Wyatt, with both likely to actually be their own distinct and separate characters. At this point in time, Uncle Howdy is being played by Bray Wyatt. The man behind the mask was Wyndham Rotunda himself. Even though, yes, there was an earring, it was not Bo Dallas behind the mask, despite the fact he has been backstage at least one SmackDown over the last 3 weeks. He has been backstage, there is discussion ongoing about a new deal for him, but he was not behind the mask. That was Bray Wyatt himself recording the lines and the facial expressions that he was looking for. Uncle Howdy is not a member of the Wyatt Six. Uncle Howdy is not necessarily the leader that Bray Wyatt is now following. In fact, Uncle Harper seems more likely to be the one trying to rescue and direct and sort of aim Bray in the right direction. You see, Uncle Howdy and Uncle Harper are expected to be the angel and the devils on the shoulder. A physical manifestation and representation of Bray's family and his history. And yes, of course, Uncle Harper being the positive because of the reference to Luke Harper. The Wyatt Six themselves are not Uncle Howdy or Uncle Harper. The intention is very, very simple. The angel and the devil will be there directing Bray's actions and tempting him towards dark or light side. Hurt, heal. This is a continuation of where they were going with The Fiend, but they never actually got to introduce the heal element to The Fiend because of so many things that did go wrong very early on. This is where The Fiend was going, but this will not necessarily see Bray Wyatt become The Fiend again. The Fiend is looking to be something separate entirely. There is the possibility that Uncle Howdy and Harper do get a physical manifestation, but that would be Bray himself because they are meant to be representations of him personally. So it is a look at his actual family leading Bray Wyatt himself. The main character in this is, of course, Bray Wyatt, but it's a Bray Wyatt much closer to Wyndham Rotunda himself. Much closer. We will start to see the introduction of the Wyatt Six soon. I expect that to be early next year or very late this year, because in introducing the angel and devil on the shoulder, they need to establish first who Uncle Howdy is, how Bray Wyatt responds to him, then salvation will start to come in the form of Uncle Harper. Then war begins between the two of them, Howdy and Harper. Howdy Harper. In many ways, there are good omens here, if you'll forgive the pun. In many ways, good omens. The main positive for me is that what we're going to get is a proper drip feed. You might say breadcrumbs of tiny little bits of storyline laid out, spread out, slowly getting to the point. Bray Wyatt himself will not be wrestling very much at all in this entire thing, though there is of course still very much a push to have him walk up to Roman Reigns. We first need to establish who this new Bray Wyatt is, because he is distinctly separate from anything that came before. He's no longer playing the acolyte, if you'll forgive that term, the acolyte of Sister Abigail. He's no longer playing that. He's no longer trying to collect lost souls. He's no longer the vengeful spirit that was the Fiend. He is now something completely different, much more human, but influenced heavily by dark and light around him. The Wyatt Six will slowly start to get involved once those characters are established. Good to hear you're positive, Al. Good to hear. Simon says, do you think TK makes Toni Storm the full-time AEW Women's Champion with how long Thunder Rosa is out injured? Well, no, because otherwise he would have already done it. Spider-Boss says, a lot of table. Dudley Boys get the table, and Tom with everything is on the table. There's a whole lot of table. Whole lot of table. Eric says, do you think we'll see Will Ospreay or Jay White in WWE? No. Simon says, Tom, I love that Sasha tweet tease to your news. Maybe. Elle says, do you think Liv is working with Bray Wyatt? Not at this point, no. Sean says, would Bo return as a wrestler? Yes, he would. Spider-Boss says, was this week's SmackDown taped? Yes, this week's SmackDown has been taped already. Sean says, I love that idea / concept, good and evil. Indeed. Venom says, I want Sasha to be given a proper Mania moment. Most Sasha fans really want that final moment to actually happen. It's been a long time coming. I don't think it's that much to ask, personally. Vegeta says, we haven't seen the mixtape glimpses. We haven't, and this is the thing. Bray Wyatt himself is playing the role. He's already recorded most of it. He's playing the role for now before we start to see people be introduced. Carmelina says, is the whole bloodline on Raw today or is it just Roman? Roman is the only one that's been advertised so far. Jonathan says, love this Bray stuff so much, such in-depth storytelling. John Talks Everything says, will Alexa Bliss be part of the Wyatt Six? She wants to be. At the moment, she's not booked to be. She wants to be. Callie says, they love to keep us all hanging with the story with Bray. Yep, we're going to have to get used to that. Joey says, I missed the Wyatt news. Who is the identity of Uncle Howdy? Uncle Howdy was played and portrayed entirely by Bray Wyatt himself. Uncle Howdy is set to be the devil on the shoulder of a very human version of Bray Wyatt. Callie says, will the Wyatt Six wrestle before Bray? That's a very big question that I simply cannot answer at this point in time. Richard says, Tom, does Triple H have plans for Johnny as a champ once he takes the belt off Roman? He does not have plans beyond who is going to defeat Roman next. Vegeta says, I'm very patient, but most fans aren't. I don't see Bray not having a match until he faces Roman. I think it's going to be a long time before he has a match, but we can't guarantee his first opponent will be Roman. Hector says, I like the Fightful report that Jason Jordan had a hand in helping Bray with the Uncle Howdy segment. Also, this whole Angel Devil concept makes Bray seem even more messed up with his impulses are becoming physical manifestations. That's such a cool concept, and that is very much what he has put together and the storyline that we are going to be seeing. Spider-Boss says, when could we see more women's tag teams apart from Damage Control and Raquel with Shotzi? Sooner rather than later. They have enough women on the roster now. They will be adding a few more. And of course, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, upcoming tag team. There is 2 more pieces of news I want to share. And to be fair, I'm probably going to pull the Bray Wyatt part there and make it a little YouTube video, or just record something like that with maybe a bit more if I've got any more tomorrow. So be sure to check that out on YouTube. But 2 more pieces of news that I do want to share, and that is regards plans for WrestleMania. Sami Zayn. The original plan for Sami Zayn at WrestleMania was to team with Kevin Owens against the Usos in a match for the undisputed Tag Team Championships. The draft would then happen after WrestleMania, separating the championships. This is why Kevin Owens returned as a face and why he was working with the Bloodline and with Sami Zayn. Now, yes, it is true, Triple H has put a hold on that because of the success level of Sami Zayn. This has changed the plans for Mania ever so slightly. They are definitely considering the possibility of Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, but at the moment, Sami Zayn is essentially an open ticket for WrestleMania. He has been guaranteed that he will be at the show, he will wrestle on the card, but at the moment, with things changing, he does not have a match set in stone. He has been promised a big one, regardless. The other piece of news is about plans for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and yes, I've been speaking about this one for a little while, but I've been able to get confirmation. The plan for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania is to compete against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. That's the plan at the moment for next year's WrestleMania. Gunther is being built right now, as is Drew McIntyre being protected for that eventuality. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say who I think is going to win. I certainly don't know who is booked to win because it hasn't even been booked yet, technically. Pardon me. Sorry for being so gassy. I do apologise. But as regards Drew McIntyre and Gunther, Drew McIntyre tends to win the big ones. Eric says, I want to see Bray get revenge on Alexa because she screwed him out of the Randy feud. She screwed the Fiend out of that. This is a very different Bray Wyatt. He is not holding a grudge. Spider-Boss says, Shayna attacked Natty on last SmackDown. Does that mean we'll see Shayna joining with Ronda? Loud firework. Yes, it does. That is a plan at the moment. Even if they're not an official tag team, they will be working together directly. Raymond says, Bray's storyline sounds great. The idea of dealing with mortality is something not used enough in storytelling in general. And we have a much more mortal Bray Wyatt. The idea of having him unbeatable in much the same way that The Fiend was not something that Triple H wanted to continue to pursue. Peter, I don't know who will join the OC or if anyone will. KJ says, yes, Gunter versus Drew. Geordie, I'm just going to kick you out for good. Like, there is no value in you being here if your only contribution is, I'm really unhappy I'm being here. Go to hell, Geordie. You literally have no value here. You are pointless. KJ says, yes, Gunter versus Drew. I don't think Drew should be the first to beat Gunter, but I feel he should win the IC title in my opinion. Hector says, imagine if Sammy stumbles his way into a Rumble win and does the whole Batista-style turn where Roman thinks Sammy is going to give his chance up, but doesn't, and challenges Roman for the WWE title. It's going to be hard to put that one together. I don't think it flows perfectly. But it makes perfect sense to me. Richard says, when Bayley takes the belt off Bianca, is that the end of the feud? Please say yes. I found Bianca very boring. It depends when the feud ends. We are likely to see something with War Games, and I think she'll lose the championship before that. Simon says, to be a Grand Slam champion, Drew needs to win the US title like Sheamus needs the IC title. That could be a competition that they go for. Ghost says, will there be a watch party for this week's SmackDown even though it is pre-recorded? Yes, there will be. Joey says, if they move the Money in the Bank to Mania, who do you think will be in the ladder matches? Wow, there is no possible way I could answer that question. There's literally no possible way I'd be able to do that. No possible way. We are 8 minutes to the hour. We currently have 366 views. We peaked at just over 100 viewers. We still need 2 more subscribers to get to 1,770, but however, we have run out of questions. So I'm going to wrap it up there. We will be back on Friday for more spoiler warning and of course for our SmackDown watch party. In the meantime, keep an eye on the YouTube channel because more videos and news are coming. More news and videos are coming. So keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic and I'll see you all very soon.